Are you okay with him? Does he feel alright? So sloths in the wild typically do what?
I was talking about mine.
Can we get one?
It's probably not as easy as we would hope.
No, and some people do still try to go get them,
Yeah.
and they usually last about a month.
Really?
Yep. Because they require a temperature of 75 to 80 degrees, and it's not just like to keep them warm or keep them cold, but it's to keep the bacteria inside of their gut alive.
Oh.
So if for some reason their temperature goes way too high or way too low, it kills off that gut bacteria, and they can't process their food. So it's not just like staying healthy, it's like that's how they process their food. Let me see if I can push Thomas back again, because he thinks y'all are cool, and that's why he's like, hey, come on. Come on, Thomas. Let's go, bud. You can go find some more friends. They don't like your feathers. I know, it's a rough life.
How old is he?
He's like 6.
Wow.
And he really is out here kind of looking for a girlfriend, but there's not one.
Yeah.
So we just said that he wants attention from us. Come on, bud. There you go. But that's the reason he's all big.
Yeah.
Because he's like, hey, look at me, look at me.
I turkey hunt.
Yeah. They're like, that would be an easy one. But he was actually at the hatchery, so we take emu eggs and stuff, and they just always had them there. And finally, Don was like, what's the deal with that turkey?
Yeah.
She was like, they just hanging around here. We're gonna eat them one day. And she's like, no, we'll take them to the farm. And
So you petting his feathers? Where
yeah,
you want to pet?
I mean, you can even pick them up.
Oh my goodness, how cool is that?
Like, he likes it. Pretty funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he goes all over. He comes down to people's campsites and begs for food. Things you wouldn't normally see.
Need to take a picture. My dad would love that.
Hang on, baby. I usually swap them over just after a certain amount
Well, I
of
think
time.
you guys have like all 3 sessions booked.
Uh-huh.
So I figured I'd let whoever that first person is do that full set,
Yeah.
and then switch to the next one.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
So if you mess with him too much, he's just trying to get away. But if the other person wants to lightly pet him, you can pet him on the back. But if you're trying to touch their little paws or their belly, that's the really sensitive area. So
Oh,
that's why
okay.
they're a little worried.
But look, why don't you? How much time do they?
Like 5 more minutes and
Okay.
we'll switch. But if you want to pet while she's holding her, you can. Yep, just real slow. See bottom? Okay. And if you kind of like shift your bottom forward and kind of lay back, then it's there you go, like you're in a chair.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Is that better? You're just trying to think, how can I be chill like a sloth?
That's what I told him. It's like you can't be crazy.
'Cause we used to let little kids hold Zoe, but Zoe got so big that once she wraps
Yeah.
around them, it's like, oh no, I'm getting attacked by
yeah.
this thing.
I kind of was surprised the baby was able to be held by younger kids, but not the older one. So I was wondering about
It's
that.
because it's so big.
Okay.
It's because like on the days that she doesn't use the bathroom, she's getting close to 15 pounds.
Yeah.
So you put 15 pounds on 2 little claws on a little kid's
Yeah.
back.
Okay.
It's kind of like, it's not really hurting, but I think it's really startling for little
Sure.
kids. During the winter when everybody has hoodies and jackets on,
This is better.
it's
I didn't
fine.
even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they do okay outside when it's colder?
No,
Right.
they'd be dead.
Well, I mean, like, I know you said, like, when people have hoodies on, but, like,
Oh, people walk in, even though it's so
I got
warm
you.
in there, they still got them on because they're cold because it's 20 degrees outside.
so when it's that cold, you don't bring them out.
No, heck no. And the only reason I brought them out is because I knew that it was at least 3 people, and I didn't want, it's a smaller area in there, so I thought this would be a little more comfortable. Thomas is not making it easy. Thomas, you're stressing Dash out. I know, you are friendly, but he just doesn't know what that sound is, bro. Come on. He thinks he's king and turkey.
You can kind of move him a little bit if you want. Like, take his arm and... He said, no.
You make that horrible noise. All right, we'll switch.
You won't let me get that close to it. You don't like it, Bob.
There you go. You okay? All right, so he's going to pull just a little bit on So go ahead and shift your hips to the
Probably
front
shouldn't
of
want
this.
to
Like, there you go.
sweatshirt.
And then that way you can like lay back like this. See, I'm like, there you go.
There's a print on my arm from
Nope.
He almost got him.
it.
Can you reach down and pick this leg up a little bit? 'Cause there you go.
Feels like he's falling, maybe.
Are you okay?
Oh my goodness, why are you doing that,
He's trying
Dad?
to-
Just to try to calm him
You
down.
think you can like grab that leg and pull it down? I don't want to. There you go. And then just pull it off your leg. Good. There you go.
Look at my dad.
There we go.
There you go. Is that better? Good.
Look at my dad.
Sorry, sometimes
No,
I'm like,
you're good. I totally understand.
I'm gonna go see
All right,
the
Sophia, look.
like turkeys.
Cute.
Hi, dude, you're so adorable. Can I just? I don't want to be big. Huh? Yeah, because you're literally holding it hostage.
When he started to flap.
But because that color's going, that means he does like it.
Okay.
Yeah, he's kind of like, is this okay? But when he starts to lose the color, that means he's like, okay, I'm getting the attention I
Oh,
want.
his back is soft.
Mm-hmm.
So when the
Do you
head
hear
loses color?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when it gets bright red again, after you let him down the shirt around, he'll be like, big bright red, like, hey, pay attention to me again.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
You hear say he's like a puppy who likes to chew?
I need to go back and just go back.
There is one right inside the barn, like fourth door down on the left. Or there's an outhouse.
I'd rather go inside.
Most people do.
Daddy, can you come with me to go potty?
Yeah.
I don't even know where it is.
What do you think, Sophia? You like it?
Why are you petting
You
me
want
so
one out here?
You don't, or this is a beard right here. Trying to calm him down. That's called a
And we'll see if he wants a little snack.
I've never seen a turkey with a skinny butt on.
Can I feed him a cup?
Sure, come over here to the other side of her. And then you can take that, put it towards his mouth, and as soon as he opens it, he might take it. No, he doesn't want it. It's alright. We just always want to check, because if they want snacks, we'll give them to them.
Yeah. Daddy, take me to the bathroom. Back to my head. I like tried since we got back from sticky fingers.
So places like Costa Rica have said that it's illegal to hold sloths, and the reason that they do that is you find locals or people that need some money, and they see the sloths and they see the cruise ships come in with 2,000 or 3,000 people, and they're like, I can go grab a sloth, dip it in bleach,
Oh no.
and let a bunch of people. Where you at?
They bleach it?
Yeah, they do that to kill all this stuff.
Okay. Okay now?
He's trying to go up.
Thea, do you enjoy this or do you not like it? Like, you look like you not enjoy it.
Here.
It's kind of
Yeah.
Different.
different. This main door right here?
Yes, sir. Just open them, go in, make sure you shut them back, and then it'll be the fourth door down on your left. It'll say restroom. Don't put your hands inside any cages or take any animals with you. Okay? I'm gonna try to keep Thomas away. Come on, Tommy. You okay?
There we go. Is that better? Around your waist?
Thomas? You are persistent. Come on, brother. No, you're fine. Just come right back up. That'll take a while. And he's fully flighted. He could fly away.
Really? And he just wants us to look or pay attention to him.
Oh yeah, he could just leave the farm. But he's like, people usually feed me. So So we have 3 sloths here. We have Flash, he's 7 years old. We have Zoe, who's like a year and a half. And then we have Dash there. He's about 8 months old. The reason that you don't find 3-toed or 3-fingered Linnaeus sloths up in North America is they require the leaves of our Sarcopia tree, and that does not natively grow in North America. So that's why you don't find the 3-toed or 3-fingered.
They have teeth for that?
Yeah.
They have huge teeth,
Ugh.
ginormous. But guess what? Your dog has huge teeth too.
Yeah.
Humans have huge teeth. We just don't put our fingers in the dog's mouth, or the humans, or the animals, and we're okay. We can probably split.
How many minutes does she get to hold him? Like,
I think it's 20 or so. I think it's a little
so we can probably get like 10 and 10.
Good job with the division.
Division. 20 divided by 10 equals 10. Right? No,
Close.
2.
There you go. You had the right
It was
answer.
20.
Good job.
Because that would be like a lot.
Not too much.
Like 10, so 10 times 2 equals 20. 20 divided by 10 equals 2. Divided by 2, 10.
I think it's because so many little kids react to him that anytime he sees like a smaller person, he's like, okay, I'm gonna go there because I know that they're gonna give me attention.
I've never seen a turkey with that long of a snoot.
I know. It like looks some out of a storybook. You're like, nah, that ain't real. I'm like, yeah, it is.
Got my gun
I'll
away.
be right back, guys.
Okay.
You guys doing all right?
Just making sure everything's okay.
Okay, cool.
Thing I've ever seen in my stinking life. Oh, you teaching my hand?
You'll love it. I love it up there.
That reminds me of Amy. She just wants to cuddle.
So that area upstairs where they're going is called the camel condo. So the sloth's enclosure goes up 2 stories. So you get the sloth all the time for a roommate.
Cute.
And then the kids have a really cool area because it's like Chronicles of Narnia. So you open these wardrobes and it has bunk rooms. And inside the bunk rooms you can look down and either see like kangaroos on this side
Oh my
or
goodness.
camels over here. And there's a tunnel on the back side with like glow in the dark fish tanks.
Yeah.
So it's pretty sweet.
Maybe, yeah.
If you bring 10 people, it's like a good deal. If you try to put 2 people,
Yeah.
then it's,
A
you
little
know,
pricey, yeah.
but it's 3 master suites and then 2 bunk rooms. So there's plenty of room. So
Yeah.
you max it out. So his fur will get a little bit harder as he turns into more of an adult. He'll start to go more towards like beard hair.
That's what my dad and my mom thought.
But not too bad. Like it's the adults are still really soft, but not quite that soft. And he's already
I just
started.
want to have a pet.
Pet?
A pet
Big
squirrel.
scratch.
Oh.
When they pick their nose, I think it's hilarious. Because I was like, I would rip my nose in half.
Yeah.
With those, yeah, that's right.
I know.
You like Michael Jackson's nose came off?
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Did? Yeah. Ew. You didn't know that? No. I just did.
But it used to be more the color of your pants, like all through the winter. And people would show up. You know, it's the middle of winter, so everybody wears dark colors. I'm like, take my picture. I'm
Oh,
like,
and you can't.
you can't see it because you're wearing black and you're holding a ball of linen.
It does kind of, he's like in a ball.
Looks like he's asleep.
He does keep
Oh, his eyes are open.
He loves
It's weird.
Sophia, literally. He keeps closing his eyes.
A lot of
Eyes aren't
times-
open, but they're.
A lot of times they close their eyes because they can barely see. They have monochromacy, so they only see in black and white, and they have a very narrow field of vision. Like you're looking through a scope or putting up both your hands like this, That's how narrow a field they see. And it's only black and white. So a lot of times they close their eyes because they're like, I can't see him.
There you go.
There you go. That's fun to feed them.
And he just takes it right out of your hand, just like.
Yep, there you go. There's some more.
I hope he doesn't think my dress is good.
Only if you have like a long string. If you have long strings, they love to try to get a hold
That
of
are
them.
green.
Any color. They can't see color. They rely on their sense of smell and hearing. And here, you guys want to see his ears?
Sure. Wait, he has ears. Just like what?
Alright. See that right there?
Yeah. Oh my goodness, they're so sticky tiny.
Yeah. So they're about the same size as ours, relative to their size. But they have great hearing. That's the reason every time Thomas makes a sound, he's like, I think I'm kind of safe over here on the stand.
I do not like that. I hit him on the apple. I petted it all day.
It feels like really, really nice, supple leather. Is really what it feels like. Or like really, really, really expensive purse or shoes. Like you touch that and you're like, that's what it feels like.
My leather had him so nice.
I like his little snacks.
They sound like mine. Yeah, I was just about to say, just like.
I always say that animal smacking is the cutest thing ever. Then you hear humans and you're like,
Yeah.
could you please close your mouth when you eat?
Oh, the pony. Okay, alright, bossy. So bossy, sassy, nasty.
We'll switch to Mom in like 5 minutes, and then we'll switch back to you after like 10 minutes. Because if you don't give her a turn, I promise it won't go as good as if you do.
Mama, you ready for the turn?
We're gonna switch in 5 minutes. We try not to switch the sloths back and forth, because that's the thing that stresses them out the most.
Probably doesn't give them an opportunity to get comfortable.
Yeah, and places that, like when people ask us, they're like, oh, is this another good place to go to a sloth counter? If you look and you see that they're doing something every 15 minutes with like tons of people all day.
I
that's
like
too
that
much.
y'all had it broke up just like twice a day.
Yeah.
Alright, did I tell you one of my rackets came off?
Yeah.
It's on the back.
What bird is that making that noise over there?
She might have her cockatoo in there. Fallon has her own personal bird, this person with the Hummer, and she might put her cockatoo outside.
What's a
It
cockatoo?
reminds me of Kevin.
Oh, that's exactly what I was about to say. It's Kevin from
Oh yeah. We went. We got a new raft and we went down the Hiawassee yesterday. And I thought it was gonna be chill because it's too cold for most people to be out, right? We get 10 minutes into the river, and there's some girl not wearing enough clothes, stuck in her kayak with her foot trapped up against a tree. And I was like, I just want to stay peaceful and not be doing rescues all day.
Yeah.
We went to help her, and then the other person we brought had spilled a whole bag of pretzels. So I get back in there, and I was like, is this cloudy with a chance of meatballs? But there's like pretzels everywhere. I was like, we just rescued. And then that person we rescued, she wouldn't get back in her boat. So then she's riding with us the rest of the day. I was like,
You had to take care of somebody.
new friend. You know how it goes. You're like, okay, I'll help you a little bit. And you're like,
Uh-huh.
okay, I'm helping you a lot.
Exactly.
It was a good time, though.
Do you like the sloth?
Are y'all from around here?
Birmingham.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Birmingham. We meet so many people that I'm like, wait, Birmingham, Virginia, Louisiana. It's like,
We come to Chattanooga fairly regular.
yeah.
I say regular. A couple times a year.
I like going down there to Little River Canyon and Sand Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I take my little girl climbing in Sand Rock. I let him nibble. Yeah. He doesn't know. He's a little puppy.
He's so cute though. I mean, I kind of just want to let him see, and I want to see what he does.
Yeah. I don't know that you would
I know you
like
said
it.
you got
Be
like
like,
a
yeah, look at
setup
what he
in
did
there.
to my
What's like the
arm.
habitat that you have to create for them?
So, do you see these enclosures that kind of have that shiny material on it right here?
Yeah.
So that is both of their outdoor enclosures, and And the reason we put that on is USDA wants something else on top of the metal mesh.
Oh, sorry.
But just behind that, Flash's area is a 2-story enclosure, and that's kept at 75 to 80 degrees with a 50% relative humidity. So imagine during the winter when it was 0 and 10, he's just leaning back.
Ooh, yes.
He's just leaning back. So we have to constantly
That's me
run
when I'm
misters
doing it
during the
back
winters because it dries it out. So
That's me when I'm doing back then.
that's cool. So yeah, it's a lot of checking the temperature and humidity all the time. And then because they use the bathroom every 7 to 10 days, that's the easiest indicator of their health. So if their stool is like way too solid or way too runny, then we adjust basically the fruit that they're eating, because that fructose spools up the bacterial growth. If that still goes out of whack, then we give them a probiotic. If that still doesn't work, then you do a live culture. If that still doesn't work, then you do a fecal transfer from the other healthy sloth. Take the poop, grind it up, put it in something for them to eat, and keep the bacteria going. So it's not like, hey, have a pizza and you're good, like a dog, you know. It's like there's a lot of stuff.
Sounds like it. But they only use bathroom every 7 to 10 days?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sounds fancy whenever you.
I think it is.
All right, we're gonna switch. I'm gonna see if he wants to climb up. There you go. If you want, you can grab that spot right there.
Hi, Mama, you excited?
I am excited.
All right.
I'm the one that really wanted to do this first.
If you want to pull them up higher.
Yeah, it won't hurt you because you have a bigger chest and it won't go like. No offense, I'm just saying. I just want to eat him up.
He's cute. And we'll probably get a 4th one, and her name will be Chloe. So we'll have Chloe, Zoe, Flash, and Dash.
Wait, that's that?
This one's Dash. Yep.
Why is it called Dash if he's not going that fast?
Irony.
Yep. You know, from the movie, Zootopia.
Oh yeah! Dash, or Flash, Dash, how do you draw that? I can't say it.
Flash.
We're hoping at one point that we'll make a greenhouse for the sloths, and then off each side will be like a smaller lodging option, because that is a lodging option where you get to be with the sloths, but unless you bring a lot of people, it's kind of expensive, you know. So we're working on making some different options
How
too.
is it less expensive if you bring more people?
Because
Could-
you split the difference, you split the cost with more people. Instead of one person paying for it, 2 people pay for it.
Oh,
What's your favorite dessert?
ice cream.
Ice cream. So imagine if you wanted a gigantic thing of ice cream. It'd be really expensive if you just bought it, but if you split it with your friend, it wouldn't be as much, right?
Oh.
That's the same thing. It's all about that ice cream.
Imagine if it was $100. 30, like 50-50. No, you know what it is. You know what it is. You know what it is. Let's talk about
Do you want to get in there with her and I'll get a picture of all y'all?
Sure.
Sophia, what's going on?
I'll stick it.
Is it over here?
That way you don't have to be by the spot.
You can scoot a little bit closer. You gotta act like no to her. There you go.
Act like you like us.
Say sloth burgers. All right, those look pretty good. There you go, sir.
Ah, that was my knee. Nope. This leak.
So we have those miniature Scottish Highland cows. And we have like a black and white one, like the tips are black. And then we have one that's red, so it's like Annie and Dolly.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to take the Jeep and take the top off and roll through Chick-fil-A. And I was like, we'll be set. I was like, that's all we need.
I would like to do that with someone with those cows. Like, that'd be sick. It's almost my turn.
So if you were holding the bigger sloth, like Zoe, because she moves around a lot, I'd have you take out your earrings.
Oh, really?
Because she's always like, just moving her arms around. It's not like she's wanting to do it, but if there's a big opening, I don't want it to be like, oh, there's my ear.
Yeah.
One lady had like a gigantic set, and I was like, I think the sloth could crawl through it, you know? I was like, we gotta get rid of those.
It'd be funny if that actually did.
I think they would have tried.
At least put your arms in.
It could be a circus sloth.
So your counters tired them out?
I think after a certain amount, they do like to just kind of sit there, you know? But at the same time, they want to be held. Like, when I put Zoe down, she chases me back out of the room, and she makes this sound. She's like, oof, oof. And then, you know how it is, you have a daughter or like something, and you're like, okay, I'll hold you for 5 more minutes. You know, like, yeah.
How fast do they run?
They don't ever run. They're only really moving through the trees, but she moves pretty quick. Like, if I put her down and I don't start walking towards the door, she's going to beat me to the door and try to get on me. One time I was trying to change cameras and stuff, and I was like, I could get it undrilled and put back in before she gets on me. Nope. She crawled up and, like, not being mean, but, like, grabbed me and scratched me and stuff. And then it was, like, the world's slowest wrestling match because I have, like, this sloth, like, stuck behind me. And you're like, okay, I'm okay at wrestling, but this thing is, like, just stuck behind you. It's pretty funny. Yep. And that's how they do in the wild when they ride on their mom's back, too. So the mom will give birth to them in the trees, just dangling from the umbilical cord. And they reach down, grab the sloth, bite it, lick the baby, clean them off. And then the baby just rides on their back. And then they only produce enough milk for each time. Like, they don't ever hold reserves. And they only do milk for like 2 or 3 weeks. That's it. They can start eating solids. Yep, pretty soon. Because they're really eating like baby leaves on the offshoots. We'll switch in like 5 more minutes. Is that all right?
Yep, perfect.
Okay.
Do they have one at a time?
Yeah, yeah. And it's pregnant for like almost a year. Like it's pretty long.
It's about like a horse.
Yeah.
What is the fuzz down there?
I think we had tablecloths on there, and then the birds land on it and cut it all up. And then we tried to pull the tablecloths off, and I'm sure that there are staples underneath there, and that's probably the remnants.
Yep, they are. I'm scared, but what time is it going to be tonight?
Let's see.
Turkeys in the background.
Yeah, that's cute.
Probably like
Thomas makes it into a lot of.
Oh, no, he's fine. He's fine.
No. People share photos all the time, and they're like, "This is the best thing. Is the turkey."
Do people come and see the sloths a lot?
Yes, and from all different countries. We've had people from Germany, Australia, England, everywhere.
Lean it back.
I
So-
kind of want to pet a donkey. There's
Do
like-
they, I don't know how to say it, do they die very often because of their sight?
So in the wild, they'll live to like 20 or 30 years, and that's because of like loss of vegetation, or when they're going tree to tree, they grab 2 power lines because they don't know, you know. Harpy eagle is their big predator. Jaguar is also their predator.
Oh my goodness.
Do what?
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, like a big cat. But in captivity, the 2 oldest living sloths were Jan and Paula in Germany, and they were 52 and 54. So we're pretty excited that the sloths will probably outlive us. And those weren't one-offs. There was another one at the Smithsonian Zoo that made it to 49. So the sloths should live.
45 years?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, are y'all raising them or are you just buying new ones?
So no sloths have been born here yet. Zoe and Dash both came to us from a breeder and a veterinarian who's been working with sloths for over 30 years. So his first sloth was a sloth that was injured and could not go back to the jungle. So these sloths are about 13 to 15 generations removed from the jungle. So like we're more closely related to like Columbus almost, you know, than they are to like being to the jungle. And a lot of people are like, why are you holding the sloths? That's bad, put them in the jungle. Sure, yeah. If we took a sloth out of the jungle, did all that, it is bad. But the guy who's been doing this program, his whole thesis and idea is the same thing as like the white rhino. Like if people had been raising them in captivity, they'd be completely extinct. Because it's a huge problem because what they'll do in Honduras, Costa Rica, and places like that is they get the babies and it's pretty easy to smuggle them and they try to smuggle them to sell them. So when people are like, oh, the sloth for this price on marketplace, I'm like, is that not enough red flag for you? Like, I'm like, that probably means it's not good. He eats everything. He's just like a bird. He'll go eat snacks. He eats those trash on the ground, worms. He doesn't go hungry. He's got a whole plethora of things to eat. We can switch. You want to switch now? Right there. All the same area. Right. I'll shoot the bottom from this. There you go. Is that okay? And if you want, you can try to feed him some of these things right here. That can be your job. Got it? There you go. See if he was interested in that. So they eat about 10% of their body weight every day. Just clean. Yeah, they have no scent glands or anything. Yeah. So that helps them also to avoid the predators. Yeah. Part of the reason we regularly get excited about field trips is, you know, like in public school and stuff like that, all you hear is evolution. And so when people come here, we get to point out certain things that you're like, that couldn't happen that way, you know? So it's pretty exciting to share with kids and stuff.
There's a lot of young in the wild.
Do what?
There's sloths, there's a lot of young.
No, not really, because they're so well hid and they're staying with their parents that they do a really good job. Yeah, they're built to withstand that fall. Like when I was like, survive a 100-foot fall, how, you know? But between the ribs and all their internal organs are connected with that connective tissue.
Right.
So, you know, like if we get in a car wreck, it's not even necessarily that first impact. It's all our guts moving around in our brains. So they don't get that secondary impact.
Oh,
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
it is. That thing is like, kind of like you said, it's like, how can that
Yeah.
be an accident, you know?
And especially, like, to me, the big thing is the fact that they depend on the sloth moth to crawl up on them. But the sloth moth depends on them being there to have that cycle. Like, maybe one, okay, I'll give it that you roll the dice a trillion times, maybe. But two of them,
Right.
just at the same time, no me gusta.
Yeah.
Cuddly, huh? That's what they like to do all day. So another thing that we do all day is, not all day, but the sloth keeper. So it's 3 hours with all 3 sloths.
Oh, wow.
Because we get people that all they want to do is live and breathe sloths. And so we start in the morning from like feeding them, examining the poop, everything. And it takes 3 hours, but we set the minimum age at 14 because it's 3 hours.
Right.
Most adults can't sit for 3 hours. So the first person has to be 18, the second person can be down to 13 or 14. But it's pretty neat.
That sounds awesome.
The other fun one we're getting ready to start doing is llama hikes in the national forest. So we just sent everybody for the woofer and we're finishing doing the permits. But then that way we can do hikes, take the llama, put the stuff on it. People can do it with that, you know.
Yeah.
People know and stuff like they want to. I'm not going to go hiking a llama.
Right.
We're going to do the same with horse rides off the farm because there are like some really cool spots that you can get to within like 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's something. So we have horses, and the thing I always hate about that, trying to think of going somewhere and riding their horses is the only thing that they're scared.
They're different.
insurance,
Yeah.
stuff like that. They don't want to send you out in tough rides or anything
Yeah.
like that. But that's what I wanted to go do. It's just so expensive to pull your horse.
Oh, yeah. Another, if you ever do pull your horse somewhere, because I used to kayak there all the time, and I would see people crossing the river, the Chattooga, like section 2 and section 3 is the whitewater part. But when it drops in the summer, there's all these horse trails everywhere, and you can even cross the river, and there's nothing up there because it's a wilderness area.
Yeah.
And so, like, some of these are long rides, like they're riding for like 50 miles. Yeah, it's really cool.
I gotta turn petting the turkey.
We're gonna bring him back out and put him on one of the crazy horses out there in the national forest.
The sloth or the turkey?
I always, so the Fallon's bird, the one that you're asking about, the cockatoo, she does everything with that bird. Like, she'll ride the horse with the bird on her shoulder and like go down like an easy trip. And I was like, you're a pirate. I was like, that's your pirate ship. You have a bird. You're like tall redhead. I was like, you're a pirate.
That's awesome.
Are you guys staying towards Chattanooga?
No, we're gonna go back home tonight.
Oh, okay.
We may stop and eat dinner, but it's just an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Oh, yeah, that's not too bad. As long as they're not messing up the cut through.
Yeah. we came through a little bit of construction traffic.
Yeah. You don't have to hold his head. He doesn't like that. If you hold his head, he's going to push against you. Even if that's not where he wants to go. Most likely the reason he's moving so much is that crazy noise of that blower. He hears that really loud. And he's like, what is that noise?